Welcome, my name's Chris, and I'm back this week with another lesson for you. This is going to be for beginner and intermediate guitarists especially, anyone that's really interested in getting out of the kind of box of playing rhythm chords or power chords or kind of the bare minimum on a song, and want to maybe look into playing some more melodic stuff up the neck. Really addressing the unknown intuitions here of going up the neck, right? What does that mean? How do we do that without just learning tabs or whatever up the neck? That's fine. You can study other people's playing, but I'm a really big advocate here for intuition. So I want to show you what's worked for me. I have gotten this wrong a lot in the past as a teacher and as a student of music, and I'm going to try to show you the intuitions that I think really make this click. And in general, we're going to be looking at how to approach playing up the neck, how to find some initial things, how to use a major scale, open strings, good keys for guitar, many things like that to get in here and get going with our study of the neck. This lesson will center around one main piece of information you do need to understand and probably memorize pretty quickly, and that is the pattern of the major scale. So if you're brand new to music, major scale is probably what you've been listening to in some way or another, or derivatives of it or flavors of it in every song you've ever heard. So we really need to understand this sound. And this was also the key to understanding the guitar neck. So once you know the pattern of the major scale, which I'll link below, it's a very simple pattern. We have whole steps or 2 frets spacing between most of the notes. There's 7 notes in the scale, and most of those are whole steps except for 3 and 4 and 7 and 1, right? And after 7, we just go back to the 1. So for the case of G, let's just review this real quick here. So there's a G there, 3rd fret, thickest, if you didn't know. That's the bass in a G chord, right? So we have 1, so a whole step up from this, we get 2. And this is like do, re, mi, right? And I'm such a proponent of really understanding these sounds, really hearing, active listening, and understanding that everything you've ever heard is in this context. And once you start to use numbers, you can really get wise to the game here, and we can start to really hear the sounds, train our brains to think contextually, to hear contextually, and everything changes, right? And this is also our way in here. So if you do this, going through here, 1, 2, 3, and then we have our first half step, right? 3 to 4, 7 to 8 in this case. 8 to 10 is D, C to D, that's 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 1, right? That's a G major scale, and I know I did it right because I started on 3, ended up on 15, and 15 is 3 above my double dot, right? And that double dot is like open. So I started on 3 and ended on 3, essentially. 15 is similar to 12 as 3 is to open. Right? So that's how the guitar starts over up there. I have like a tiny little guitar. So that pattern you really want to practice, and you can just practice it by really hearing, going very slowly, trying to really listen to the notes, try to hum the next note. 1, 1, 2. Right, anything you can do like that is really, really good. Any active listening we can promote here. If we pair that idea with playing along with an open string that is the same, then you can kind of harmonize the scale against the 1. So if I pair this concept with an open G string and I play the G scale in another position, then I can kind of harmonize this, and it's just beautiful, right? So it would sound like this. So let's say I play the G here, 5th fret D string, right, because this is D. Now you know how whole steps and half steps work, maybe. E would be 2nd fret, F is 3rd fret, F sharp 4, and there's that G on 5. And then also you can learn octave shapes like this that are helpful. Again, this is not about information. I'd rather you really hear some of these sounds we're doing and be able to find these open notes paired with a major scale. So now we have G, A, right, same little pattern. So 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and really try to hear what we're playing here, right? We're trying to get some intuitions unlocked at that level, not like thinking about scale shapes or whatever. I look back now teaching a lot of this stuff, a lot of scale shapes, a lot of information, and it kind of rings hollow sometimes to me because that's just not what it's about. That is helpful, right? There is a time and place for information. But if it's like food, we have to like do something with it. You have to kind of keep it fresh. You have to cook it. You got to eat it. Like you can't just like let it sit. It's going to probably not be applied or applicable in too large quantities. So that's why I'm avoiding doing anything like that up the neck, any of this, too much of the study like that. So if you can kind of get this going with hearing, so let's do the G again and really try to hear what I'm talking about. Like you try to play that moving note, and this is also of course working on that major scale pattern. So if I go 1, 2, you can do this in time. You can turn it into picking practice. You can strum this. Works on muting, right? We're working on a bunch of stuff. I'm kind of muting the strings that I want to hear around with my fingers. So a few things you can do there. So of course, if you extrapolate this across the guitar, we can really work on major scales in different parts of the neck, and we're learning a bunch of stuff, right? It's really applied. So if we do this to every string briefly, let's try E, so we have our thickest string, and then I can use my ear to do this too, right? Really good practice on just finding unison notes, which some people I've taught have trouble with this at first, really leaning in, right? And it's just like no teacher ever like asked them to do this. And then I want to be that teacher to ask them to really hear those, unison as much as possible. My fan is messing up the sound, but right, we really need to hear that. 1, and so you can also count up the neck, right? So that's E, 7, right? 7 on A, and now I can do my pattern. 1. How about we go down now? So think 1 under 1 we have a half step, right? 1, 7. Right? That rub. 6, 5, 4. Then I can't go down anymore, but 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? 3, 2, 1. And that 4 is A, right? That's a 12th fret. I can always remind myself of that. And now I'm getting better at the local geography of music too. So you're starting to kind of get hip to like, oh yeah, now I know if I have studied this enough, that E in the key of E, E is 1, F sharp's 2, F G sharp's 3, A is 4. You start to have some of these associations with the sound as well. 4, 3, 2, 1, 7, 6, flat 6, even those have a vibe and a feel. And that's really good just to explore, right? How many songs could you write just right here, right? Riffs. Well, you just kind of play wrong notes. You can really hear kind of that major scale, I think, more directly this way. And because we're playing it up one string, you really get the feeling of that progression melodically versus like a position, which is more common. A position is more convenient, but a lot of times I will play stuff like this with like slides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 1, 2, 7, 1. And this is the kind of intuition I wish were taught more than like a giant scale book, right, with 10,000 scales in it. Like, which one is going to be more possible to get in your foot in the door here, right? This kind of thing where you're really trying to sing and hear stuff. Because if you can't hear stuff here, if you're like kind of blank mind, like you just don't hear what to play, then it's almost like it might not be time yet, right? You really need to start having a feeling of like, I can hear something I want to go for, right? Or I'm responding to something in a really personal way when I play it. So, and using your voice is super good. I never thought I would advocate for using the voice this much, but it really does help you become a really good player because you just develop this connection with the guitar where you can really test it. Like 3, 7, 2. It's amazing. Like my voice will follow stuff, then I'm trying to kind of fool it. But if you get this connection going, it's really symbiotic. It's great. So the next string, A. So now I could play this a couple ways. I could even play under A, right? I could find the A on thickest and play along with an open A here. So 1, 5th fret on thickest, 2, 3. But if I do the same thing of finding a higher A, I could look for the A on this D string. I can do the same thing, right? Try to find the unison. There it is right there at 7, right? Just like our other one. There's a few patterns here, right? 1, 2, 3, right? That beautiful. Or minor 3. Minor 3, 1, 7, 2, 1. You can play. That's not the same key, right? But anything, right? Try to find some tunes, right? That's really going to the next stage here. I used to work at a music store where another teacher right next door I would just hear him playing along to like Etta James records for the voice, like the vocal line on guitar. He's playing it on guitar because it makes you really good to be able to find these tunes, right? Like any tune, any melody, anything that we can really activate this, whatever it is. It could be even just make something made up. 3, 7, 1, 6, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 5, 7, flat 7, right? Really push yourself. Really try to get deep here. Really try to make that connection, right? And also make the connection to the fact that the major scale is really what we're hearing when we hear songs. And maybe not the major scale, maybe it's the minor or whatever. But nonetheless, we're hearing the relativity of it. We're not hearing the exact notes so much. Yes, you're hearing the exact notes, A, right? But if I play whatever, same little motion, right, it's gonna kind of hit the same. Okay, moving on to D. So the same little concept here. Not super in tune, but it's jazzy. So same idea, right? Move the D around. 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, and find those half-step moments, right? Really try to tag the sound you're hearing to one. This is not an ear training video per se, but ear training is so critical, right? It's just, you can't skimp on it, because if you're like thinking, I want to go up the neck, I want to learn some stuff outside of the box, you can learn some tablature, which is like a kind of a narrow, like tightrope of a thing. Like you either can play it or not. But here we're kind of inviting some other possibilities, right? So we're inviting, I can make up music. I've never done that before. I've only played chords. Well, now you can go find the D there. Play every string at first if you need to. 5, 2. It's really cool to play this like open D string with it too, because you're really hearing what I'm talking about, I think. This is the idea of playing along with the drone, which is good. I will link one of my favorite cello drones that I use all the time. There's all 12 keys on YouTube, and they're great. You can really get into a certain space and really experience the music in a deeper way, right? Okay, now going on to G. So now when you're this, like here, you can do many things, like in the middle of the guitar, we could play below this and above it. Same with D, right? So we could play lower. What is that? 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 1. I'm teaching Birdland by Weather Report. That's the bass line. 6, 5, 4, 3. Right, and really, you can finger pick this, of course. So for G, we could do the same thing. We could go. Right, kind of go off script sometimes if you need to. Go really slow if you need to. Just play like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. And find how many ways you can do that. Now I can start here. 10th fret A string, do the same thing with this G. So it's going down now. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, sharp 4, 3, flat 3, 1 or 2. Right, and this is how many songs get written. They just find this kind of cool sound, right? And often with some maybe notes that are not particularly exactly a part of what we're doing, right? But it can be cool because music's all about just motion. And sometimes you want like a spicy kind of color in there, right? Maybe you want 1, 7, flat 2. That's really, really dissonant, right? But it's kind of a nice flavor if you're hip to it. 7, 6, flat 6, 5, flat 7, 6, flat 6, 5, 3, flat 3, 2, flat 2, 1. Right? Super pretty, right? And this is not even including other notes we get out eventually. That's another lesson. So, okay, now moving on to the, we can do it there too, right? But now moving on to the B string. Same idea. So we find the B, right? You have to think, you can kind of do it by ear. And this is also a really good technical thing if you're kind of newer to playing lead guitar, playing two strings at the same time. And I'm really a big fan of this kind of stuff. This really thickens up your sound. It's really cool. And I feel a lot of guitarists don't use this enough. Instead of having a really thin kind of one note thing, why not add some beef behind what you're doing? So if I have a song in B, and there's something I just taught in B. But anyways, we'll say I was going. Like that, right? I just kind of create something, and that could just be a lead line to a song, and I could be playing a melody. Let's say I was playing "Ode to Joy." That's a classical example. Let's try something that's like maybe like "Let It Be," whatever, random. Probably taking a break on that, and it's in B. So that can be a really cool inspiration, right, for just finding some sounds. But really, if it's just for learning the fretboard, that's cool. If it's just for learning the major scale, that's cool. Just for ear training. It could be for everything. It could be for also writing your own song, for writing your own parts to songs, right? It's really endless. And for B, I don't play in B enough, personally. I think I should play more. It's not really a great guitar key. We're getting into, F sharp, G sharp minor, but like that open B string is a really cool thing, and it's a good resource not to sleep on when you have open strings to play in those keys. So okay, going on, I don't want to go too much longer. We just have E at the end, right? But let's go back to B real quick. What if I kind of had this idea to just get a little bit more flexible with chords too, and I maybe learn some like bar chord, or not bar actually. I'm really against bar chords for many people, or for many contexts, unless you want that sound. But personally, and I've talked about that in previous videos, chord families, and I'll link those below if you're interested in some more chord approaches. That's another way to get unstuck, right? But here's a way to get unstuck going this way. So all to say, what if I learn how to play like a power chord, right? Which is really good stretching to do if you haven't done, especially for lead guitar. Going up the neck, you have to get that 2 fret index ring stretch. That's really the biggest stretch you need to do for mini guitar things. And then we can add either a major or minor second here, or sorry, major or minor third. So this is a major third, this shape here. It's like an E shape, right? Sorry it's not like really super clear, but I'm just trying to, like, do the thing, get better at it slowly. Or that's good advice. So like that is an F sharp, right? I'm playing 2, 4, 4, 3, open. So if I'm in the key of B, isn't that beautiful? So I could go like, and I have that B in there, open, and that E I'm just not playing. G sharp minor, 4, 6, 6, 4. Isn't that beautiful? Using that open B string is just great. And so that's a little bit bigger of a concept, kind of playing chords in the key of B. The F sharp minor, or sorry, F sharp major, the 5, the 6, the 4, the 1, the 2. What else would be good? The flat 7. How about the flat 6, the 5, the flat 5. Now we're getting jazzy, but right? So, super nice, right? We're trying to get really outside of the box here and how we're thinking about how can I move up the neck. And really the crux of this lesson, I think now I mean crux. I said crux the other day in another lesson, and I meant crutch. Now I mean crux. I think. I swear I know how to speak English. The point of this lesson is you can use the open strings and try to play along with them for a myriad of reasons, right? For ear training. for learning the major scale sound. I feel every musician, if you are actively studying music, you should be able to tell me what 2 and 3 is. Like, that's a whole step. 3 and 4, half step. 5 and 6. And better yet, the reason we want to know that is it makes hearing that easier, right? So I can use that information and go, okay, I'm playing along with a G, and I've studied this in my, with my attention in practicing, where I've gone 1, 2, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, right, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3. You can do it on that string too, and just mute the D string. You can strum this. So of course this really makes you grapple and kind of get online with that major scale pattern. And you don't have to be just the major scale, you can kind of get out of the norm, but if you can really prime your ears to hear that major scale thing in the wild in your life, it's so much easier to move up the neck. And I think there's something to say here about going up one string and really grasping the distance, the intervals of the half steps on 3 and 4 and 7 and 1. Because that's something that like string players and pianists, actually string players can do it on one string, like us. They can also switch strings. But pianists, we see that linear pattern, right? And we see the black and white keys. And that's why pianists generally have a much easier time with theory and understanding what notes they're playing. Here, we have to go even more so into our ears, into active listening, into distance between the frets on one string. Because we are making up for the fact that this all looks the same. All the frets look the same, right? And we do have fret markers, but those are not super helpful. So we have to really use this intuition of like using our ear to play for us. And it really does. Like, it's amazing. Like, if I'm trying to think of a song that I haven't played the melody to. I mean, most songs, right? Like Eleanor Rigby. So I don't think I've ever played that melody. Sounds like it's on 6 at first. So if I went with the G, I want to say that's in G, even though it's kind of E minor. But if I go, but that comes to you. It just comes to you. It's hard to even describe what I'm talking about. It just is immediately available. Like, it's a piece of language that you've now acquired because I've gone 6, 7, 1, enough. That's not the best example because it's kind of minor, but still, it still worked, right? It's amazing that it does. So you just really have to listen to what you're playing, and this is a perfect example of musical contextual learning, where we're trying to find some of those unisons, right? I'm going to just review this process and I'll wrap up. So go through every string, try E, this is your homework. Try to find the unison at 7, there's the E. You can get an E major scale if you want to do extra credit, right? E major scale, okay, says if I go up the scale, I get F sharp, 1 to 2. That's the main thing to know, whole step. And then also, this is the even more main thing. Sing it. 1, 2, 3. You can make prettier sounds than I probably. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then go below. 7, 6, 5. You hear that resolution on 5? Really goes with 1, right? It's like a kind of makes a house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. The resolution on 3, and then of course 1. 6, 7, 1. Really try to hear that, okay? Same thing on the A string. And you can even include other strings too if you finger pick especially, or use a flat pick and want to practice your technique. You can go into the open E string, even the open B and E string. Played an outside note, I had to, right? So really, really fun to kind of just play some open strings, even not the 1. And then D, same thing, right? We can do this also same idea with maybe playing some other things like, what was I playing? Open D string, so what else I was doing like. So playing some little power chord things and keeping the D string open. But again, I can just try it with major scale. Also a great way to practice modes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want to play Norwegian Wood. Right, so really good. I think it's really inviting to make some connections here. And you know when you're doing something the right way when it starts to feel like you can feel the layers of study. Like all this stuff isn't like competing information, it's all like contextual. Like, oh, this is D, 7th fret G string. Oh, now I know that note name, D. And also I can see if that's 1, or I can hear if that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Look at the D major scale. Now I can learn D, E, F sharp, G, F sharp, E, D, 3, 2, 1. F sharp is 3 of D. That's good to know. 1, 7. Oh, that says it's C sharp there, right? Oh, 1 to 7. That's why we need that C sharp, just so we can have 1 to 7, not 1 to flat 7, right? 1, 7, 6, 5. D, C sharp, E, A. And also, I'm just like physically learning how to move my hand up and down the neck with precision and stuff, right? Using different fingers. I'm good, some technique, stuff like that. Playing good tone on every string, every fret, kind of right behind that line with just enough pressure, and some good, finger, whatever. Just good form. Right, you can put your neck like in the middle of the neck, or sorry, your thumb in the middle of the neck, just supporting the note. Or you can, there's a few ways to play, but that's the idea here, right? We're just going through every string like that. Really be thorough here, sing, make some connections. I think it'll be fun. Let me know how this goes. I'm gonna go and leave you at that. I didn't do the B string, but mess around with the B string. Really try to find the root first, then try to move it around up and down, and do it as much as you can sing it. And you can also learn the scaled notes this way on the strings. That can lead to other stuff like playing in more in position. But I really like this kind of thing, and maybe you can even write a tune or have some fun, make the lead part up to a song. So until next time, I'll see you then. Please like and subscribe if this has been helpful. I'll be back every Monday and Wednesday typically with a new lesson, and let me know how you like this concept, if you find it useful as a lead guitarist, or if you're just getting into this, if you can make some headway with playing some nice sounds. Until next time, I'll see you then. Thanks.